Everyone ready? Yes, sir. Okay. Ed Gonzalez, Harris County Sheriff. This morning, our agency is hurting. We continue to hurt. It's been a rough 24 hours here in our local community. Yesterday, when Corporal Galloway with the Precinct 5 Constable's office was brutally attacked. And so our prayers are with Constable Heap and his agency. And this morning, early this morning, we lost one of our sergeants, Ramon Gutierrez, was with the family this morning at the hospital, just trying to be supportive and to embrace them, literally and figuratively as well, as they go through this very difficult situation. And so our hearts are broken, and there just really isn't any words when we lose a hero, a law enforcement officer in our community. It's not only a loss to our agency, but also a loss to the community at large. Sergeant Gutierrez was a 20-year veteran of the Harris County Sheriff's Office. The last 13 years, he had spent them in our Vehicular Crimes Division, investigating a lot of serious crashes and other serious traffic-related incidents that happen around our county. He is survived by his wife, his high school sweetheart, his daughter, who was set to be married in about 2 months, and also his sons as well. And so we're just embracing this family. We appreciate the outpouring of support that has come our way, not only here locally, from other agencies as well, from all over the country. It's been really tough for law enforcement to start the year. We also had the untimely death of Deputy Crowder just last week. I know NYPD also suffered a loss, a young police officer that was gunned down responding to a domestic disturbance call, and a second that's battling for his life. So again, I mean, it may happen in different ways, but at the end of the day, they're all very difficult to go through. And so what we know from this morning at about 12:25 along the service road of the tollway near Tidwell, Sergeant Gutierrez and others were escorting an oversized load. Sergeant Gutierrez stopped at the exit ramp to block one of the exits so that they wouldn't strike the truck as it was traveling down the service road. He hopped off his motorcycle and was pausing traffic when a vehicle basically barreled down, went around his motorcycle, striking Sergeant Gutierrez directly. She did not stop to render aid. She continued traveling for at least another 1.5 miles, even as other deputies and others were pursuing, trying to get her to stop. She didn't. She eventually stopped, like I said, about 1.5 miles down the road in a residential neighborhood. At that point is when she was detained. She exhibited signs of intoxication. So all those are factors that will be taken into account with the investigation. She has been charged now with 3 charges. And so that'll be dealt with. We appreciate the Harris County District Attorney's Office with Sean Tier being present and involved in the investigation. They do a phenomenal job investigating these cases as well, so we thank them for their role. And so again, our hearts are heavy right now as we lost a very good man. Everyone just loved him, thought the world of him, had a great sense of humor, family man. Everybody says that. Just loved his family, and just that comes up all the time. And everybody, whether it be the Harris County Institute of Forensic Sciences or the District Attorney's Office or his colleagues, everybody just said what a professional he was, what a joy he was to work with, had a great sense of humor. And so we're feeling his loss today, and he'll never be forgotten.
Sheriff, the residential area, did she go home? Was it in front of her house?
I wasn't part of the arrest, so my understanding is she eventually stopped prior to reaching a residence or anything. I don't think she made it inside a residence. I don't know if she lived in the area or what, why she went to that specific residential area. I was just told it was a residential area.
Can you tell us anything else about
her? She's 40 years of age. She's been charged with 3 charges. I don't know her background or anything like that. Just 40 years old, and again, just sad that of what happened this morning. It's just horrific, and we just pray that she be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law.
Was this driver aware that she had hit somebody, that she had hit a law enforcement officer, just a person in general, or was she so intoxicated, possibly to the point where she had no idea what had happened?
Yeah, I didn't have any interaction with her. I went straight to the family at the hospital, but it's my understanding the motorcycle was blocking the exit ramp, so it was positioned there. She drove around that and struck him. So based on all the information I received, it was very clear that she had done that. Plus, she was being followed by lights and sirens and trying to affect the traffic stop, and she wouldn't stop. So there were plenty of different things happening for her to know that something had occurred, but she didn't stop initially.
Did she make any statement at all?
I haven't talked to her. I don't know about that.
Sir, I know the circumstances surrounding all of the deaths have been very different, but you mentioned heavy hearts. We know, because we've been covering it as well, how difficult this has got to be for families and for all of you. What is the sentiment right now with all of these deaths that we've had?
It's just very difficult. It just really is. It's hard when you see family breaking down and they're heartbroken and their dreams are shattered, right before your eyes, and dreams unfulfilled. As I said, with her daughter set to be married here soon, we should be planning a wedding, not a funeral service. But team members crying, grown men, professionals that see this on a day in and day out basis, that handle these type of crash investigations and things like that, but to have to be investigating the death of one of their own, is extremely difficult. And so with Corporal Galloway as well, the way he was ambushed so brutally, and we hope that there's a successful arrest and prosecution with that as well. So all of these weigh very heavy, and we lost Amanda Crowder here as well. She was very well liked. I was saying that we always say that, these individuals that pursue lives of public servants are such great people, but they truly are. I mean, they're great people that really just are human beings like anyone else that have dreams and aspirations and things like that. So it really hits home when we step away from the job sometime and we just see the impacts that they had in their community and in service and with their families. It just really leaves a large gap in our hearts, and that's what we always say, and it's a commitment we make that they'll never be forgotten.
Sheriff, there was other officers at the scene that pursued her and others that went to his aid. Who went to his aid? Was it his partner?
Yeah, others, partners that were there that were assisting with the escort went to his aid, and then obviously Life Flight arrived and were able to take him to the hospital.
How did that hit them? That's horrible.
It was horrible, and many of his colleagues had to go and work that scene investigation as well. But as the district attorney's office, Sean Tier, told us, they were heartbroken, but they were marching through the investigation, being professionals and just trying to keep their composure as best they could under difficult circumstances. But there were many heavy hearts at the hospital, and everybody's just very heartbroken. And he was well liked by so many people. Everyone I've talked to that either worked with him when he started working at our old jail at 1301, as we referred to it, talked about what a great team member he was and his sense of humor, and just everybody just really talks so highly about him and how much, and his family is front and center in terms of what a family person he was. Everybody just said, if you looked at his social media post, everything was about his wife and his family, and what a great marriage they had. Like I said, I think they were high school sweethearts, so they've been together for a long time. He was a young 35 years old and still had so many years to live. He had been promoted June of 2020. I was able to pin his badge there as he became a supervisor, and he continued working our vehicular crimes division.
Sergeant, the suspect in this case, was she drunk at the time?
She had signs of intoxication, so that still will be part of the investigation, but she has been charged with intoxication manslaughter as one of the charges, but she did exhibit signs, and that'll be part of the investigation in terms of establishing her level of intoxication and all that, but it was our understanding that she had been drinking.
And where do you think she was at before she got into the car?
That'll be part of the investigation as well. The district attorney's office has done a really good job, and I commend them for that, of looking at the source locations as well. So we could see exactly where she may have been consuming, and so that'll be part of the investigation. Our focus has really been on just comforting the family and our team members right now, but there's a different side of this, which will be the investigation, and that's just in the early stages right now.
Is there anything that the community can do right now for the family?
Nothing immediate. We're just, again, the words of comfort and support are very reassuring. We always say that we're very fortunate to live in this community that's so supportive of their law enforcement. We have different agencies here, and everybody rallies around each other. We've had losses at the Precinct 4 Constable's Office, now Precinct 5, our agency, HPD, throughout the years. And any time we lose, one of our law enforcement officers, first responders, it's always a big loss to all the community. So it's very difficult.
As far as the driver, where is she right now? I know she was being booked during the early morning hours. Is she officially in jail here, and will a mugshot of her be released anytime soon?
It's my understanding she's already been booked in our jail, and when we have one available, we'll make it available.
So far in 2022, I guess we're now, which is in 24 days, there's been 15 law enforcement deaths across the country. 2 of them have been in our area in 24 hours. I don't know if we're the leader, but what do you say about that as far as, you said, probably ranking as one of the top in the country?
Yeah, well, it's very troubling. It's very concerning. Again, I think on one hand, it's a constant reminder at the end of the day of how dangerous the job inherently is. We understand that when we sign up, but still, the families that are impacted, the families behind the badge, if you will, they're at home, and you don't know if you're going to see your loved one again. And these circumstances are horrific and sad and difficult. And so that's one side of it. The other, especially with, here where we had a possible drunk driver that struck, it's preventable. It didn't have to happen. We constantly take to social media and TV and say, don't drink and drive. We lead the nation in the number of DWI arrests and serious crashes and fatalities. Stop it. There's other options. Think about it. You put yourself and others at risk. We see the aftermath of that here today, and it's not something that's going to go away immediately. The scars will literally be there forever, and seared in the family's hearts. When the father won't be there to walk his daughter down the aisle. You can't put a price on that. And on the other side as well, when you're talking about those that would ambush a law enforcement officer, to say that's unacceptable in our country, in our communities, that we must, make sure that we're respecting law enforcement officers for the jobs that they do, protecting our community, and the violence against police has to stop, and we've seen it far too often across here in our region, but across the country as well. We've got to make sure that we get past that we can make sure that we continue to work together with community, and that the community takes a stand against any violent actors that are out there harming our community. We've seen a lot of violence for a lot of different reasons, and it really has to stop. Our community deserves better, and we must do better, and we will do better.
Algo así. La policía en este momento sigue en la búsqueda de quien asesinó presuntamente a uno de los suyos, y en este momento ustedes tienen ya una persona que aparentemente, debido al consumo de alcohol, también asesinó a uno de los suyos. ¿Cómo tomar este momento como organización? ¿Qué significa esto?
Pues por el momento es algo muy duro, porque estamos destrozados por lo que pasó. Nosotros, tanto en nuestra agencia como en la oficina del Deputy Constable Ted Heap, el Constable Heap y su Corporal Galloway que falleció ayer, lo asesinaron. Entonces, pues estamos muy tristes en este momento, es de tratar de apoyar a la familia lo mejor posible, a sus compañeros de trabajo, y seguir adelante. Ha sido unos 24 horas muy difícil, y también para tratar de, ojalá que puedan, que haya un juicio en un futuro, y cuando haya un arresto en otro caso, y en este también, y que se haga justicia.
La información más reciente es que se han fincado 3 cargos específicamente en contra de la mujer que privó de la vida aparentemente al sargento Ramón Gutiérrez. ¿Cuál es esa información que nos pueda compartir?
Sí, pues primeramente fue que estaba la sospecha de consumiendo alcohol y conduciendo y obviamente se accidentó y mató a alguien en el proceso. La otra es que se fugó de los hechos y no se paró. Y la otra es que cuando te has accidentado y causas heridas, te tienes que parar por ley a tratar de asistir a la persona y no hizo eso. Entonces, en este momento hay 3 cargos contra de ella. Es una mujer de 40 años de edad.
De encontrarse culpable la suma de los 3 cargos, ¿cuál podría ser el tiempo que ella pudiera pasar en prisión?
Pues en este momento son cargos muy serios, entonces eso ya es algo que el juicio se va a tener que encargar de eso, son cargos ya pesados, pero es algo que la fiscalía o la oficina de KPRC, ellos se encargan de estos cargos y cuáles son las penas que van con los penales que van con eso.
La situación con la familia del sargento Ramón Gutiérrez, ¿quién le sobrevive? ¿Cómo toma la noticia? ¿Ha hablado usted con ellos? ¿Qué le han dicho?
Ya hablé con ellos, estuve con ellos en el hospital, tiene a su esposa, también a su hija, quien se iba a casar en un par de meses, y sus 2 hijos, varones también que tienen. Entonces, muy tristes, están destrozados la familia en este momento y vamos a hacer todo lo posible para apoyarlos.
¿Cuál es el legado que deja el sargento Gutiérrez?
Sí, pues muy querido, sirvió aquí por más de 20 años, más de 13 años en nuestra división que investiga incidentes de tráfico y accidentes. Entonces, un compañero muy valioso que muchos lo apreciaban y lo quieren y dicen que tiene un buen sentido de humor y siempre quería tanto a su familia, hablaba de su familia.
Finalmente, en la fotografía de la persona que está siendo procesada todavía no se tiene para...
Sí, todavía no lo tenemos en este momento. Anything else?
Thanks, Sheriff.
Thank you, Sheriff.
Yeah, thank you, I appreciate it. And I think, Victoria, you have a more recent photo of Sergeant
So I can see
Gutierrez,
that